All right, let's get started. Hey, Katie. Hey, Brian. Hey, Michael, Josh, Deb. Good to see you guys. Six Figure Songwriting Office Hours starts now. Good to see all of you. How are you? Anybody want to tell me about their week? Just unmute yourself.
I went camping.
What?
It was amazing. We went to I'm trying to think of the national park. It's just below Yellowstone in Cedar Grove, California. So there was like mountains. We hiked like 8 miles through a mountain, and then we got up to this like one ledge, and there was people in like traditional garb doing martial arts. It was like on the side of a mountain. I was like, how are we still in California right now? And then we went to a cave, and we hiked through a river in a cave, and then we saw the redwoods.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah.
All except sleeping in a tent. I'm not good with that.
It's okay for 2 nights.
Just okay, though.
Yeah. That's okay. That was my weekend, and then we got that finalist in this little songwriting competition for the song that I wrote for this class. So that's exciting.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You deserve it. It's very cool.
Thanks.
Well, does anybody have a question or want to talk about a subject? Before we go much further, I would just want to remind people that I don't remember what I was going to remind you about. What was it? What did you need reminding about? Shoot. I totally forgot what it was. Well, does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Zion. This is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I have a question. This might be what you wanted to remind us about. On the last office hours, you said to email you about what master classes you signed up for, what your deal was. Was that it? Okay.
Yep, that's it.
I thought that might have been it. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't do that yet. I'm sorry. But yes, okay.
Yes, please
carry on with the reminder.
The Zoom call that I send out, the link is only going to go to those people that have signed up for them. So if you haven't signed up, you won't get the Zoom link. And the first call is on Monday. It's for how to become a licensing agent with Wendy. So if you got a masterclass bonus when you first signed up, make sure you does everybody have that link? Do you need the link again? Let me give you that link. There's only been 40 people that have signed up, and there were like 70 something people. So if you know anybody,
Still have to sign up.
do it right now. Sign up.
Okay. I'll leave. I'll go sign up.
Oh, you don't have to leave. Just sign up. Yeah, put down which courses you want to be on. All right.
You know, I think, Zion, this is Sarah again. I think that I missed that link. Maybe it was in the chat. And just so you know, when we're on the Zoom calls on the mobile app, sometimes it's a real big pain to go to the chat and catch everything because you have to like switch out of video. So I think that maybe people missed that link. If I missed it, maybe other people did too.
Well, you should have got it in an email.
Oh, okay. Well, then I got nothing. Thank you.
Oh, really? Yeah. SarahTodd11@gmail.com.
Oh, no, not that I didn't get the email. I have no other answer for why I haven't done it.
Oh.
I was laughing at that.
So I have a list of 97 people that I have a list of that supposedly had the bonuses. I sent an email to all of them and said, because I don't have a list of who got one master class and who got all 3. So I need you guys to just go in and select the ones that, if you got one, just choose one. If you got all 3, select them all. And then even if you can't make it, because you'll get the replay, you'll get a link to the replay.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Zion.
Yeah, Josh.
Can you remind me what we did to maybe get these master classes, because with her book and stuff, there's so many bonuses left and right. I can't keep them straight.
I know. It was if you first signed up, if you were within I think it was the first 75 people got the bonuses.
Okay, cool. I think I was way too late for that.
Okay. Yeah. It was just for the people and I think it was for people also that paid up front, that didn't do a recurring, like installments. Instead of doing installments, they paid the whole thing up front. They got it as well.
What I recall is that if you paid up front, you got all 3 master classes, and if you paid monthly, you got to choose one.
If you signed up by that Saturday, but you paid monthly, you got 1. And then if you signed up by that Saturday and you paid for the whole thing, then you got 3. Is that right?
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
Is that what you remember, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I need to go back and try to find the notes. I wasn't part of that launch, and so and literally Victoria's not here anymore, so I have to go back and dig through her notes and see if I can find that. But yeah, I'll send another email out or another notice on Facebook just for anybody. And if you know of anybody that's not on the list, or you're concerned that they didn't get it, let them know. All right. Does anybody have a question? Cool. How's your weekly assignment this week? Anybody check out which books they're going to be looking into? It's a kind of an odd assignment, but I like this one because it's all about just having creativity going on in your life in other ways. Sometimes we don't have to focus so much on music, because music comes out of doing a lot of other things. As you know, your best writing sometimes can come out of inspiration from a hike you went on and watched ninjas on the side of a mountain, or something like that. You can get inspiration from the weirdest places. So having books just lined up, I'm not saying you're committed to reading those in the next year. I'm not a huge book reader myself. I used to be, and I've gotten out of that habit. I try to read at least maybe 2 a year. That's pretty bad. Some people read, 1 a week. It's crazy. Yeah, Audible is great while walking the dogs. You know what's funny is I love Audible also. I love it, love it, love it. I love listening to books, like if I go work out or whatever. But I've gotten so much into podcasts that when I'm thinking, I'm in that space and I'm like, what am I going to do? And I usually jump to a podcast because it's like instant gratification. I don't know why. Books are amazing, but... All right, well, let's jump over and listen to some songs if nobody has any more questions on this.
Hey, Zion, real quick, I sent you an email yesterday, and I also sent you one like a few weeks before. Are they reaching you?
Yes. Yep, I got it. I just got to get back to you. Sorry.
No worries. It's okay. If you hate me, that's fine too.
I just hate Katie. She's just so annoying. Not at all. No, sorry. I just haven't gotten back to you on that. So let's check out. This is Mark Stone's. Is Mark here today? He's not here. All right. We'll check out Mark's song.
There's a question in the chat real quick, Zion.
Oh, do you know much about royalty-free music, and why would anyone want to know if my music is royalty-free? Yeah, so royalty-free music just means it's music that was created with nobody's copyrighted it, and whoever created it basically is allowing anybody to just use it. There are databases of sounds you could go to for that. What am I looking at right now? Shoot.
Brian Houston's screen.
Brian?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're looking at your video.
Me neither. I uploaded a song there for listening, so maybe that took, I don't know, maybe it took precedent over other things.
Oh, how weird. I don't know what's going on here.
Just play.
I can see you again.
I have no idea how that happened. We were all seeing your screen of playing a song.
Oh, really?
Just put a link in the chat if you want to have a song played.
All right. Okay.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, as far as royalty-free music, if you want your music to be royalty-free, when you put it out there on YouTube or whatever, just claim, hey, this is royalty-free and I'm giving it to the world. But you can't backtrack on that once you've done that. So you can't, a year later say, actually, I want to be paid for that after you've put it out there for royalty-free. There's a lot of people that are looking for royalty-free music for their, the background music to their YouTube video or a tutorial or something like that. There's a lot of music that, a lot of classical music is royalty-free music because it's so old. Nobody has a right to it anymore. There's all kinds of weird laws about music being put back into the public domain after a certain amount of years. So the second question is, and why would anyone want to know if my music is royalty-free? Because they might want to use it as a backing track to something they're doing. Or they may want to sample a part of it and use it in their song. Or they may just want to steal it. So anyway.
Hey, Zion?
Yeah.
I mean, because to give you more info on that question is because a video music coordinator for Penn State basketball was asking me those questions, and I had reached out to him, but I'm waiting on a response from him. But I was wondering, why wouldn't I, because I know I want to keep, I want my stuff to be, I don't want it to be royalty free,
Sure.
But I'm not I better understand the reason you're explaining, but it was just, because anytime my music is playing wherever, I want to see, residuals from it,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would never give my music away for free. It not only does it hurt you, but it also hurts the entire business because people start thinking, oh, I should be able to get music from anybody for free. And that's what's happened with photography. You can download, there's so many places you can download amazing photos for free that photographers have a really hard time selling their songs. Because why would somebody want to buy it if they can get it for free? And they start expecting it that way. So no, I would definitely not give it for free. Just say, no, none of my music is royalty free, but we can negotiate a price. You may end up saying, hey, I'll let you use this and, for a sync fee of maybe $500, which is super cheap, as long as there's individuals from this, meaning through the performance royalties. So if it's used, your performance royalty association like BMI will collect for you on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Good to see you, sir. Even though I can't see you. Glad you're here.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, so let's jump into this.
If I could, I would give you the sky. Some kind of stratospheric promise I could make. My feelings I have for you are nothing I can hide. My emotions are nothing I can fake. Trust on me. I can never let you down again. I know I haven't been the best man all the time. Half the time I'm half the man I wanna be. up and carry your own weight. Oh, no, not again. It's the whiskey donkey. Yeah. It's that oh, no, not again. It's the whiskey donkey. There's nothing better for me than the feeling of your.
Cool. Mark, are you here yet? Mark. Okay. This is cool. This is actually the best thing I've heard from you so far I really enjoy this. I actually like it when you belt out even more than when you're singing lower. When you're singing quieter in the verses, it's a little too woo, kind of vibrato and kind of classical sounding, and it doesn't sound very authentic. I would try to keep it more conversational, the way you sing it, the way you perform it, not try to perform so much, but just sing the words. I think the verses are way too long. It's too long. Really interesting video that you put this to. And it's fascinating to watch something while you listen to it, even though I don't know how it goes with it. It just is cool. I don't know if you have the rights to that video. You better make sure you have the rights to that. But that definitely is cool to watch something. It's nice to watch a lyric video. And even though it's a weird video, it's fascinating just to watch this old Western and how things were done back then. I think the theme of it, oh no, it's the whiskey talking again. I think that's really cool. I don't know how syncable this would be. And then there's a lot of love and breakup type of lyrics in this. So it might have a tough time finding a sync home, but I think it's a cool song. I think the mix overall was a little dull. It didn't sound very rich. It sounded a little dull, but it sounded like good guitar work, like really good guitar work put in that. And so I commend you on that. I think you're a phenomenal guitarist, and it really shows in the song. So just continue to just keep working that craft, man. You've got some really, really good talent here. And I love when you're belting. I don't know if that's you or not, Mark, but when you're belting, man, you've got a strong voice. It just suddenly goes into, old rocker, or remind me a little bit of Adam Lambert, and just how strong his voice is. It's cool. Anybody have anything they want to say about that one? All right, let's go to Ron says the video is distracting. Yeah, maybe. I liked it. Mike Georgia says after 75 years it becomes public domain. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's check out. I know who this is. This is Stephen Cooper. Yeah, Stephen, are you here? Don't think he's here either. All right, let's check it out. No, has it been removed? Oh, we can't listen to it. Oh, wait. That's the later one. Okay, here we go.
Rocking high in the clouds in the sky. Don't want the night to end. Having a ball with my friends. Got to on the dance floor. We're only getting started and it's more than a four. Think I'm loving this trend. Get messed up with my friends. We're all together again. We're all together again. Everybody is my friend. Get messed up this weekend. Open up your Instagram so we can get a picture with a drink in our hands. Hashtag pick of the day. Hey, wait a second, take it again. And put it in the group chat. So I can use a filter that gives me a tan. I think I'm loving this trend. Get messed up with my friends. We're all together again. We're all together again. Everybody is my friend. Get messed up this weekend. We're all together again. We're all together again. Everybody is my friend. We get messed up this weekend.
Cool. All right. Let's talk about this. So, Glockenspiel. Yep. There's some Glock. I would take that Glock out, actually. This actually borders on the line of being kind of punky alternative rock a little bit, like a fun, cheesy version of alternative rock. And I would go with that direction. It sort of feels like it's not sure if it wants to be a folk song or singer-songwriter happy-go-lucky Cathy Heller song or pop song. It doesn't feel like it knows what it is. And if it's from that same album, Fly the Nest, I would make this a lot more rocky than this is. It just feels because you have that it's all based on, that's like a 12/8 beat or just a really swung 4/4. That's a great beat. It's fun, but it's also a very childish kind of beat. And that's fine. That's good. But it gives this very upbeat, kind of fun, light feeling. And so I would balance that with a little more edge. Put a little edginess into it. A little rock your guitars, a little rock your voice, maybe some distortion into your voice. Take out any instruments or sounds that are too sweet, like that Glockenspiel. It sweetens it, and you need it a little more if you want people to take it seriously, because that beat is sort of silly sounding. If you want people to take that seriously, add some edge to that, and you can make it work. I think it's a good song. I think it's going to be tough to sync this because it says we're going to get messed up this weekend. That line is going to have a hard time catching a music supervisor, because they're going to love the, hey, we're all together again, you're my friend. They're going to love that. And then they're going to go, you're going to get, yeah, maybe Brian says, get caught up this weekend. Yes, something else. I would just change that word just a little bit, and you've got a great song. You talking about Instagram, you're talking about just getting together with friends. It's great. You're on a theme. You're just borderline cheesy. So to get it out of the cheesy mode, to get it out of the silliness, make it a little edgier. Find ways to do it in just a little edgier way. That could be some instrumental things. That could be some production type tricks to make it just kind of elevate it a little bit and make it seem a little cooler. I'm not suggesting you change the beat. I'm just saying, because you're using a beat, you're using a groove that's very playful, it can fall into that cheesy, sort of silly, childlike territory, which I think has a harder time finding a home. Does that make any sense? I hope you guys kind of feel me on that a little bit. You can do this kind of thing. You just need to elevate it with some edge. Yeah, a Hammond would be cool. Yeah, a rock organ, something that's just kind of dirty. Maybe use. I would take the drums and find drum samples that are much dirtier sounding, overdriven, and things like that. But cool. I love hearing your stuff, Stephen. You're always amazing. Keep it up. All right, let's go to Kate Elizabeth, Revolution.
Some of us come from the fire, all lit up and we're rising higher. Feel the heat taking over, lighting up. control again. Never gonna keep us down. It's a revolution. Never gonna keep us down. It's a revolution. 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 Rising over the mountain, we're on the other side. Look how far we've come. We're not stopping now. Here we come. Never gonna keep us down. It's a revolution. Revolution. Revolution.
Cool. Kate, are you here? Kate? All right. So here's some thoughts about this. I think it's a beautiful song. Your voice is awesome. It's mixed really well. It's very clean sounding. It sounds has a nice clean sound, and some of the choices of the instruments are nice. The piano sounds great. The kind of distortion type things that come in, that little effect that comes in right at the beginning. What is it?
Some of us come from the
Bass is nice.
fire, all lit up and we're rising higher. Feel the
That da 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 da. That's kind of off in the distance. That's cool. That kind of, I would drive that a little harder. Like put it through a something that had a little more energy. I think what this song lacks is a breakout. It's like, here's the energy, and then it kind of goes like this on the chorus, and then it kind of comes back down, and that's kind of it. And I think it needs this. It's sort of begging for a heavy, like, boom, I mean, you've got some great hooks in there. Bring it out. It feels timid and scared. Like it doesn't want to offend. It doesn't want to get in your way. It doesn't want to, cause any problems. And I think it needs to cause some problems. It needs to be big. You're talking about a revolution. That's a huge thing. So this is one of those functions of, like if you're playing a snare, tap, 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 and then you play a snare harder, that's called the velocity of the snare is, if you're hitting the snare really hard, it has a different sound it makes. Even if I put the volume down here and it's the same volume as this tap, tap, tap here, it produces a different sound. It's the same kind of thing. When you can create energy without it having to have volume by just having the vocals bust out and the sound of people singing stronger, singing bigger, stacked vocals. That piano needs to fall out in the chorus because it's so gentle. It's like it's carrying this gentleness throughout the song, and you want to come out of that gentleness. So stop the gentleness, bring in heavier playing instruments to provide some meat. It needs some meat in this section because it's a great song. It's got great hooks. It's got great feels. Your voice is amazing. It just needs to build. It needs to be taken to another level. So I think you have a great song here. I would sit on this. It sounds like you've been working on this for a bit. Sit on this a little bit. Submit it to us. Get some feedback. But sit on this. Let's see kind of how things feel, and then yeah, you might want to revisit this one. Or if you're inspired, I would look to have your producer really help you with that chorus so that it comes out of that energy. Does anybody else want to say anything about it before we jump on to another one? Cool. Does anybody disagree with me on that? It's totally fine to disagree, guys. I just won't talk to you anymore. Yeah. Brian says, I want that synth hook a bit more out front in the first verse. I do too. Nice. Spot on. Okay, cool.
I think maybe when she goes into Revolution, like it could maybe go up to a different note or something, give it more dramatic
There you go.
lift or something.
Lift
To
is
a higher place.
Yes.
Than when it started. Just
totally agree. Awesome. Okay, Josh, let's listen to yours.
This frantic world overwhelms me now. The voice of you hurries me along. The pace of my feet, the constant beat of a song. The world weighs heavy on my heart. Feels like years we've been apart. It's been a long day. There's so much to say when we get home. Fit in anymore. It's been a long day. Your smile makes it okay. We can sit and talk for days. Alongside of you the fears fade. I walk through that door and feel I'm home.
Beautiful chorus on that. Josh, you want to tell us about it?
Sure, yeah. It's a co-write with Sheila, who did the vocals. She's in this class. And Kurt produced it for us. And we're working now on adding a bridge to it to give it like someplace else to go. 'Cause right now it's just kind of the same repeated in terms of melody. So we just kind of wrote the bridge 2 days ago and sending that to Kurt. So it's in progress, but I figured while we were here in the midst of these middle stages, it'd be good to get other feedback.
Yeah, I think you've got a great little song here. I love that chorus. I think the chorus is beautiful, and it is gentle. See, this is the kind of song that just it's sitting in a very gentle chorus. It's not trying to say revolution. It's trying to say, I'm just thinking about home. It's like a daydream kind of thing. It's beautiful. I think the chorus has a lot of syncability to it. It could be used really well for a Folgers commercial or, those types of commercials that are all about coming home. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't think the verses are very good yet. And I would take a look at the verses. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the melody or the words itself. It just didn't feel like it. It felt like the chorus was way better than the verses. Her voice is good. It might be partly how she's performing it, though. But I would just consider, before you guys finalize this, consider a different melody in the verses. Like keep your chorus. You've got the hardest part done. But just in the verses, look for something that's a little more conversational. So, for instance, like, if I'm saying, like in the first verse, it says, this frantic world overwhelms me now. The voice of you hurries me along, the pace of my feet, the constant beat of a song. It's kind of poetic and it's kind of vague, but it's creating sort of an atmosphere. I get it. I think it would be stronger, though, if you said things that were a little more authentic the way you would say it. So, like, one more hour before I get to leave. I haven't talked to you all day, and I keep thinking about just connecting again, or just, I don't know, just things you would say. Like, I just really miss you. This is one of those days that I just can't wait to get back to you. That's something you might say, and not the voice of you hurries me along. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That came out, it started out as a very poetic song, and then we started stripping as much of that away as we can. And I think you're picking on one of the things that was still very poetic, and that's good. I'm glad that like you're seeing it the way we were trying to strip away from that. So
confirmation on that. Yeah. Yeah. But like that line, we can sit and talk for days alongside of you. Well, the first line, we can sit and talk for days, is definitely something you would say. I love that. But then you say, alongside of you, the fear fades, or the fears fade. That's not something you would say. If you were talking to somebody saying, hey, we can, I just, you know, every time I'm with you, we can just sit and talk for days. Alongside of you, fears fade. You just wouldn't say it that way. So this is sort of a difference between sort of the old school songwriting method. This definitely fits the kind of the, you know, if you took a songwriting class in the 80s and 90s, this is kind of how they would teach you to write. But we're coming out of that, and I don't want you to be limited by something that's so easy to fix. You can just go in and just conversationally, and don't worry about rhymes. Seriously. The only time you really need to worry about the end of a line is if it's weird, if it's harsh, and the rhyming is so totally polar opposite. Like you're saying Connecticut and you're rhyming that with apple. That might be too much of a difference. You may want to find something that's a softer rhyme, or something that's not so abrasively different. But as far as perfect rhymes, I would try to stay away from them. They almost make your song cheesy. And your song sort of gets more credibility the less perfect rhymes you have. Every once in a while, it works. But this is a new era of songwriting we're in. And I want to catch you up on that real quick, in that you don't need to say along and then song. It's tempting. When you're writing music, it's tempting to try to constantly find rhymes, but you really don't need them. If it makes the song better, sure. If you can say, no, I think this really makes this part better. But generally, we do it only because we think it comes across as formulaic. Like it was, you know, spun around in a formula and spat out this way, and not the way you would actually talk. So I just challenge you to do that. But what you have here is a great bridge, or a great chorus. And as far as a bridge, I wouldn't even think about trying to write a big thing. Just do a cool little instrumental break. Like go into a different chord that you haven't done in the song. Just go, like if you've done the 1, 4, and 5 chord in the song, go over to that 2 minor chord and just play off of 2 and 6 minor, and then come back into the song, or something like that, so that it just varies it, and just do a cool little instrumental break with some oohs and a guitar riff, and you're done, and you're coming back into the chorus. I don't think it needs anything complicated. Your chorus is so strong in this.
Yeah, cool. That's along the lines of what we were thinking for a bridge too. We wrote some lyrics, and we're going to see how the production goes, but then we're going to play with lyrics or oohs or just instrumentals once it pans out. So
good job, man. I really like this.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for the feedback. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting. I love seeing your progression, Josh. All right. Michael. We've got yours this is the one that didn't work. So, okay. So you're asking me to try this link. This one? Okay, let's do it.
At home, I can take off my shoes. At home, I can hang up my blues. At home, curl up in a blanket and melt my troubles away. At home, pick up my feet at home. I can dream of my dreams at home and forget about hassle. There's nowhere else feels as good as home. Whenever I feel alone, there's no place I'd rather go than home. 'Cause that's where my heart lives, and the critical part is every time I leave, I'm just missing and wishing that I could be at home. Sweatpants and show my neighbors how I dance. Sit by the fireside and melt all my worries at home.
That's awesome. Tell us about it, Michael.
Yeah, it was fun. That totally came out of nowhere through a morning pages exercise one day. I was trying to figure out how to do home, and I was like, somehow I ended up there. And I really liked the idea. I just started thinking more of the vibe of the furniture, the coffee, the just being silly at home, being playful. Somehow a fusion of like that old school doo-wop, but trying to kind of make it a little bit more of a modern flavor blend, but still like super laid back. I got a few questions about it though, in terms of it's super short. I wasn't sure about something like this. It also doesn't have like a chorus. It's more of like a refrain that keeps coming up. I don't know if that's a desired thing.
If it works for the song, it works for the song. There's no rule. But yeah, like kind of it's sort of like a hymn, like an old hymn, just has verse, 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 you know, kind of thing.
Totally.
And refrain in it though.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I think it's great. It reminds me of Jack Johnston. It's just got a cool easiness to it, like sitting around the fire at the beach. Just nice and fun and easy. Yeah, I think it's a great song. I don't have any critiques on this, man. It's just great.
Was there anything to change? Like I was kind of curious before. Some feedback I had was maybe like there wasn't enough of a drop, or it kind of still stays kind of the same. Whether or not that's something worth changing?
I don't think it's really worth changing. I didn't feel that way personally. I mean, you could go to sort of a home.
Yeah, just strip down that bit more.
Like snaps and doo-wops or something. But I wouldn't get too much into the doo-wop area.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought some of the background vocals were maybe a little too much.
Okay.
I would almost keep it a little more just personal, just because the doo-wop is in the groove, the vibe of it. Yeah. And you don't need to add in any of those sort of retro type things. It's funny you said doo-wop, because the other day we had somebody needed asked CTM to create a doo-wop, like a modern day hip hop sounding doo-wop. And what? We didn't have anything like that, of course. So I'm like, I'm going to try to throw something together. So I threw together some, and it was bizarre. It didn't go anywhere, but it was fun to do. That doesn't come up very often to hear doo-wop anymore, but yeah, that's cool. I think this is great. I would just almost lean into if you were going to make any changes, I would look into stripping a few things out. Just simple and maybe dry it up just a little bit with the vocal, not as many effects. So it just sounds personal and easy and nice, simple. Just think clean and simple, you know?
Okay, cool. Beauty.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic song. It sounds like something that would be in like a Toy Story movie, like the Toy Story, like during a montage or something like that of characters doing stuff and coming home, and just, I mean, not that it's silly or childish in any ways, but it just would fit that kind of vibe of.
Well, there's totally a line in there that I thought I wasn't sure if it would be a bit too much. Like there's a line in there about looking out the window and putting your sweatpants on to show your neighbors how you dance. I was like, I'm not sure if that's like too far in the silly or if that's cool, you know, like that's kind of my style.
That's great. I think it's great, man. I love it.
Cool.
You know,
Thank you.
when you find little things like that that are really unique to you and kind of resonate with you, if as long as it doesn't stop you from continuing to build your fan base, try to lean into those things even further, because those are the things that are going to set you apart. That kind of quirkiness or that kind of vibe or that kind of, you know, when you find little elements like that, when they work, it's like just double down on that kind of stuff. So in your next song, don't be afraid of adding those little references that make you laugh, that make you chuckle, that bring you joy when you write it. Every once in a while you have to edit that and go and edit it back a little bit. But if that's your style, that's your vibe, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing in any way.
Cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Ron,
that. Thank you.
Ron says, how about a harmonica?
Yeah, I'd be totally down. Again, it's just more of a question, I think, if you think something else is needed or if it's more about kind of pulling back.
I didn't think anything was needed. Harmonica, I suddenly think of, do you remember The Fox and the Hound?
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up, the Disney movie Fox and Hound, I had the record of that. My mom used to play that for me all the time. And it's got, all the music is sort of this, just kind of easy and hanging out with the dogs and just, you know, and I can suddenly think that harmonica will make it sound really country immediately if you do that. You may not want to do that. I love the slide guitar stuff you have in there. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a great guy producer I work with in just outside of Vancouver that he helped me with that, and he's a killer slide player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie says, Copper, you're my best friend, and you're mine too, Todd. We'll always be friends forever, won't we?
It was such a good movie.
Yes. Remember that? The Fox and the Hound. Whatever happened to that? They probably deemed it racist or something, and it's gone.
It was really depressing, but it was so good.
It was a dark kind of movie, wasn't it?
It was great, though. It was one of my favorites.
Give it a year or two, they'll probably remake it.
Yeah, it'll be a live version of it, like with Will Smith in it.
And a happy ending.
I love it. All right. So the next one is Catherine. Hey. Okay. Let's listen to yours. This is so fun. Okay, so Catherine's asking about the production. Do I like it? Does it sound overcompressed? It's nice. It's just sort of a bed of sound and chords and people playing. I don't think there's anything that jumped out at me as bad or necessarily great. It does sound a little overly compressed, like one of the instruments, I think it's the acoustic or something, just feels a little, I can hear the compressor working on it. It sounds a little busy to me, to be honest. You've got a lot of plucking and picking, and you got a mandolin, you got some guitars, and you've got, all kinds of things happen. It just sounds a little busy to me. I'm not sure what you're going to use this for, but sometimes less is more, and you don't need a ton of stuff. Just because you might have access to an amazing mandolin player, you may not need a mandolin. I love a mandolin, but sometimes you just don't need it. So yeah, I think it's nice. It's pretty. Are you here, Kathleen? Don't think you are. But anyway, maybe you'll hear this on the replay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Jaraneh. This is the area I am working towards. Warrior Song. Okay. You there, Jaraneh?
I am. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Always
Fantastic.
good to see you. All right. Jaraneh,
Yeah.
talk to us about this one.
Well, I put it in for a listen because that is like, you know, this tribal ambient that I'm, you know, trying to like work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that that's a pretty long cut, that ultimately I'd have something shorter and simpler. But I guess my questions are, is the production kind of close? I know there's a lot going on in there. I should probably thin out some spots.
Yeah, I have some suggestions on how I think could make it a little bit better. First of all, this sounds like it's in mono. Is this in stereo or is it in mono?
That's a good question. I think it's in mono.
Yeah, it sounds like it is. I think I would try to get it into stereo because it'll make it sound much more rich and full.
Okay.
Mono is good to click into if you're just testing it. Like for instance, if it's going to be broadcast in a concert or a thing where there's a lot of speakers all over the place, then you definitely want that to be broadcast in mono because nobody can hear that stereo spread, you know? So you want to see how your song always fits in mono. A lot of mastering engineers will do that for you in the end. But anyway, you have some cool, like it sounds like sort of rattles or beads or something like that kind of shaking in there. That would sound so cool if it was kind of in stereo spread. You know, you might have one over here and one over here and kind of spread that out. I love the sort of it's sort of a drone bass note. It's nice. That'll sound a lot richer if it has some stereo spread in the higher frequencies of that. Like keep the lower frequencies in the middle your bass frequencies always need to kind of be sitting right in the center. But as you go up in your higher frequencies, if those are spread out, it'll make the whole thing feel a lot more full. I love this song, this vibe, this feel. I think you have such a gift for this. And I love that we have a Native American in our class, and it just is awesome. So I totally love that you are sharing this with us. It's a gift. I love the flute. Is the flute that you're playing actually that shell?
No, it's not. That shell just goes wah. You can make sound, but no, there's two different native flutes in the mix.
Okay, I would say when you're singing, I would take the flute away, and then when you're not singing, bring it in. Like when it was together, it felt like it clashed a little bit. Like it was like my ears sort of like, what am I supposed to be listening to? Mm-hmm. I thought the whole vibe was going to be an instrumental at first. And so when your voice came in, it was like, oh, it was so cool to me to suddenly hear your voice and hear, are those real words in the tongue?
Yeah, that's a Menominee warrior song, Menominee tribe, which is like Northeastern. But it's, I gave it a spin. There's a bit of a spin, and there's some Lakota words in there as well.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I think a lot of this is just cleaning. I mean, you have all the elements there, and it's a really cool vibe. It gives a really cool sound. I think this is the kind of thing that could actually be that could be used if you wanted it to. It's up to you what you want to do with it. But for TV and parts in film where they're just, if somebody is moving, going across Arizona or it doesn't even have to be necessarily an Arizona type feel. It could be a film about anything. I mean, like, for instance, who's the famous director that uses pieces of music from all genres and sticks it in his music? But it could be, I just see this as something, if you create a really amazing bed of sound, which you are doing here, that could be used in all kinds of different vibes for other types of movies, especially if it's done by somebody who's a Native American. That makes it so much more special, and it's precious. You know what I mean? I think
that's cool. So I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going to. Go ahead.
Look, like as I get better at building up these beds, I almost have like a template of beds to work with, depending on my flute. Flutes are like key sensitive, right? So if I have a bunch of templates of those good beds, then I can build these atmospheric pieces quite easily once I get the production dialed in.
Yes.
And I really like the idea of like creating the space for the shakers and whatnot to move around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's really a big deal. I think that would create that sort of like cinematic feel, right?
Sure. And you can do that somewhat with just a stereo spread. You can kind of move things around. It'll almost seem like it's going around you, but of course with two speakers, you can't completely make it sound like it's going around somebody. You can't do that unless you had a surround sound speaker system. But with music, you want to do everything in stereo. But however, if it was put to film and they had the actual tracks, they could do that. They could, they had the stem files. They could do that in a movie. I think it's really cool. I think what you're doing is amazing. I would love if you ever need some just somebody to help you mix it or a little bit or produce some of that. Hit me up, and I'd love to try to, I don't have a lot of time, but I might be able to just do a quick mix for you to show you what it could be, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would totally take you up on that. That would be very cool.
Okay.
An honor. I'm glad you did it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just think what you're doing it's beyond just music. This is has a lot to do with our history in this country and you as a person and your heritage. And it just there's something beautiful about this that needs to be supported. And if I can support in any way, please let me know. I mean, I think this is amazing. And I remember.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I honestly, like, for instance, one of my favorite things is when, like, I'm up in Sedona or up in Flagstaff and I'm just in some shop. It might be just a shop in Santa Fe or something like that. And you hear real music done by Native Americans, and it might be just a voice. That's it. Or just a flute. It is one of the most it just grabs your heart and makes you stop and pay attention and listen to it. It's just such an incredible sound from an amazing people that needs to be preserved, and it's just so cool. So anyway, I'm going to stop gushing, but I just love it. So thank you for sharing.
Sure. Thank you. And thanks for sharing that, because I think it's true when people hear that native flute, especially, there's something that opens in our heart centers, and it's beautiful. And so the people that it speaks to, it really does. And that's really potent. Thank you for verbalizing that.
Yeah. It was weird. One time I was up in, believe it or not, I was up in Vermont, and I went to it was a monastery. It was a literal monastery, Catholic monastery, but in their bookstore, they had a little bookstore after you did the tour. It was in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and that they had this little bookstore area, and you went in that little gift shop because they're trying to sell a few things, but they had just a track of an Indian flute playing. And I sat there and almost started bawling my eyes out. I'd never heard anything like that before. And I was, and this is in a monastery, a Catholic monastery, and it was really bizarre in Vermont. But I bought the album and I just listened to it constantly on repeat for quite a while because it was so moving. It was just like, and it's just one sound, but it has so much, there's like so much emotion put into that one little sound. It's so beautiful, and it's sad too. It's like a beauty and a sadness that's kind of combined. It was just really moving.
Poignant. There's a poignancy, right?
Yeah.
And that's very true. That happens. I do this live with live loops, is how I perform it live. And oftentimes people start bawling as soon as they hear the flute, especially. They'll just like open up and start crying. And then from there, it's like gravy for me. It's like kind of easy. It's like from there, right? I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's something very beautiful.
That's amazing. I love that. And if anybody here also can support what she's doing, and lend a hand, I mean, this is something that's, I want you to feel supported and loved through this class and through your colleagues that you're meeting here, and any areas that you might need a little help in and are weak in certain production elements, we should be able to fill that in for you, and so that you can have the kind of tracks and speak the kind of message that you need to be speaking to the world.
Wow, thank you. That's really wonderful. I sent that other track to you a while ago, and I've been trying to get those DXT plugins to like work with the software I have. It's been nightmarish, and I think it was I just forgot her name. Her name is as hard as mine to pronounce. And she has a great voice. She sent me a link for an ambient native submission, but I couldn't get my plugins to fatten it up, and so I missed the deadline. I just couldn't get it happening. So it would be awesome to like reach out to producers and help me like get over the minutia of those technical difficulties that we all
because everything you're experiencing right now is I mean, I'm not trying to under sell you on if it's difficult. If you're having difficulty, you're having difficulty, but none of what you're talking about is stuff that would require a really big producer or anything, or somebody really, it's just clean. It's clean music that needs to be captured really well. That's it. There's no complication to it. And there's a lot of students in this class that I think could help you with that. And if I have time, I will try to help you with that. But this isn't rocket science. It really isn't. And I'll show you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know it can be done. Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. That's excellent.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So your conch shell there, is that used traditionally in like North American Indian things as well?
It is. It's not necessarily only for that. It definitely is more of a south of the imaginary border sort of calling instrument. But there are indigenous ceremonies that use it. Mostly it's used more casually for like gathering people together. But yeah, so traditionally it's more south of the border, but there are some, especially coastal tribes, that it's included in their traditional sacreds.
Okay, yeah, because I do a lot of Indian classical music, like from India, you know, and so we do it to kind of like, you know, okay, this is like a big number or something like that, but it's, you know, so that was cool. And then the other question is, do you ever play this flute? This little one?
The ocarina?
Yeah,
I love the ocarina. Those are really sweet. Yeah, I love those.
You could teach me how to play it sometime, because I keep trying it.
Oh, you can
forever, and I never play it.
It has like 3 notes usually.
Oh,
2 or 3 notes.
That's my problem. This one's got 6.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, 6 whole. Okay, then you have more. It's an elaborate one.
Oh, okay, that's why I can't play it.
You can do it. I know you can do it.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Awesome.
Well, I was going to also say that you might want to look also, as you start to put together an album, really look into Pandora, to getting your music into Pandora. Pandora is known for, like, there are people that all they do is play the piano, and they just make some great recordings of classical pieces, and they put an album out and just say, hey, this is me playing the piano. And they make a lot of money through Pandora, because a lot of people put on music in the background. And this is the kind of music that is going to have a niche. It's going to have a strong niche. And if you don't already have some albums in Pandora, we need to get you over to that.
Okay. Nice. That's a great suggestion. Thank you. You'd mentioned that to me before, and I started following that piano rabbit hole, but didn't complete it. But I really feel like this is this type of native ambient music is definitely what my like artistic career has come to. You know what I mean? It's like it's all roads have led to here.
Yes.
And so this is the thing, and it's relatively simple for me to do it at this point.
Good.
So yeah.
Yeah. So keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving ahead.
Write lots of this kind of stuff, and then as you get your production better and better, then you'll just be able to whip them out, because you'll already have all the stuff written. You just got to put it down then.
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to access. I think I might have to wait to get the chat until later, because I can't seem to get it, because I wanted to see.
Oh, the chat screen?
I was seeing things pop up, but I might have to get it later. So anyone who replied to me in a great way, I'll definitely hit you back up once I find it.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, it is 3:10 and we need to sign off here. But guys, it's been amazing. Thank you for all your submissions and incredible, incredible talent. All of you guys, amazing. If you haven't signed up for the masterclass and you were given that, please do. And I will talk to you later. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to get to my emails. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Zion. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.